Today I'm going to start with Vision Sunday. I'm so glad you're here to hear this. This is going to be so much more fun for me because there's someone to hear it and listen to it rather than talking to myself. So I'm so glad you're here to hear this. Today I'm going to kind of try to give you a little bit of a picture of what we're doing, not really unlike what we were doing last year when I projected to you this vision that we're going to begin to build a marriage ministry that helps us thrive in our marriages, to helps us put the pathways in place to grow in our marriage relationships. And I want to start by saying that our vision isn't to grow bigger, it's to grow healthier. Don't need a big church to bring glory to God. We need a healthy church that brings glory to God. So that's kind of the groundwork that I always think of, or the lens that I always kind of think of. But last year, just as a review, I kind of painted this picture about our marriages, which are the foundational building block, I believe, for the rest of our lives if you're building your life in a marriage. Foundational block, which also means if that foundational block is broken, cracked, or otherwise damaged, nothing else can really be fully repaired because the foundation is damaged. So that means if you invest in building and growing and strengthening your foundation, everything else kind of follows suit. And if your marriage foundation block is thriving, it's my conviction that most every other part of the home life, the career, livelihood, raising children is also healthy and thriving too. So we will be praying with you and partnering with you in all the ways that you need us to help your invest in your marriage as you take this journey towards building marriage health. So we've got this website here. I wanted to make sure that you're aware of it. This is a tool, northcentral.org/thrivingmarriage. And can I just take you through it real quick? This is last year's stuff, but I just wanted to point it out. You have a few minutes? You're not going anywhere? Okay. So here's the website. This is what it's going to look like, your journey to a thriving marriage. And this is basically going to direct you towards 4 pathways. The pathways are essentials, enrichment, encouragement, and endurance. And each of those pathways is a means by which we're partnering with you and praying with you to help build or to help you prepare for a thriving marriage, or to help you invest in someone else's thriving marriage if you're no longer married or you've been married a long time and you're like, I don't have anything left to learn, but I have a lot to give. Then you can be a key part of this endurance pathway. So those are the pathways. There's 4 of them. One example of how this works is the essentials pathway here. If you click onto the essentials, you're going to find assessments that you can start your process with by getting marriage assessment. By the way, assessments, I don't have time to explain what those are. There's a couple of assessments here that we like. There's actually 3 of them, 2 of them here, and one of them is a personality assessment. And then another part of the essentials here is this series called The Meaning of Marriage. It comes in a book, a devotional, and also an audio series to listen to and listen through so that you're getting these essentials. We already put all this in the hands of our staff and our church leaders. So they have access to this essential material, and we'll be working through this again, continuing to kind of build up on that through the rest of this year. And also, you may have remembered, last month we did a Marriage Minute interview. We'll do one every month until we no longer do them every month. Okay? So that's the plan. The plan is for you to hear from our married couples for as long as we need to. So that's kind of a step-by-step in one aspect of this building our thriving marriages. So what about this year? What about 2022? Let me start. There's basically 3 aspects with what we're envisioning for 2022. Basically 3 aspects, starting with the desire to see real fruit, not perceived fruit, not imagined fruit, but measurable fruit, which brings us to launching in 2022 a church health assessment. A church health assessment. That means inspecting and investigating the level of health of our church family. Already an evaluation has been sent to 99 of our church staff, our church leaders, and church volunteers. You will get a resend. If you didn't see it and you're one of those people, you will get a resend. We're hoping that you will receive that, if not today, sometime very soon. And then we will aggregate the results of that assessment, of that survey, and begin to target the weaker aspects of the 10 characteristics of a healthy church. Here's 10 characteristics. I wish there was only 3, but there's 10. And I'm confident in telling you that there's more than 10. These have been categorized here by some experts that are local to us, and we'll investigate these 10 and then be able to aim at where we score the weakest and begin to invest in getting stronger and healthier where we're the weakest, where we're perceived the weakest, okay? So this will lead us into some areas of growth where we get to spend time in cohort video training and then get some ministry leadership coaching along with it. It's all part of the assessment. So that's we'll be doing that this year. That's what I envision, getting healthier. Feedback, honest feedback, and then making real investments in getting some coaching and learning to make some real strides in improvement. Then the second aspect that we're envisioning after real fruit is better reach. Better reach. And really a couple of ways that we're envisioning a better reach. One of the ways is to increase the effectiveness of our live stream, to build a better live stream broadcast. Crisper view, upgraded lighting, improved and better camera, so that our reach in people who are, this is a tool, we see live stream as a tool to reach and help connect people to the church family for all different kinds of reasons. You know that people used to, do you remember, it wasn't too long ago that if you wanted to check out what a church was like, do you remember when you'd have to go to the church? You remember that? Park your car and walk up the sidewalk and then kind of, try to figure out how it's all going to look and work, and am I making a mistake? And then church experts would say things like, just recently they would say things, people make up the decision if they're going to stay at the church that they're visiting within 10 seconds. I'm kind of like, that's too fast. That's too soon. That's basically like you're reaching out to shake someone's hand and you're already deciding if you like them or you don't just by looking at them. Now, sometimes you can tell by their terrible handshake, right? You already know this isn't going to work. You know what I mean? That's not going to work. So we don't want a weak little handshake here as a church family. We want to broadcast and project a crystal clear, improved, better experience that better represents who we are and what we're about. Okay, so we'll enhance that. I had a church expert that was teaching recently a bunch of church leaders and said that a live stream broadcast today is as important now to reaching and connecting with people as a church website was in the late 90s. In other words, if you decided back then you didn't need a church website because people ought to come to your church to visit, you don't really exist now. No one knows you exist now, right? Because I don't know about you, but most people aren't finding our church in the yellow pages, right? We're found online. So what the church experts are saying is this, that Generation Z is going to determine if you exist based on your live stream, your social media presence, and so on, because that's where the crowd is. That's where the audience is. We see it as a tool. We see it as a tool. An effective live stream is a way for people to say, I want to see what this church is like. Is their pastor mad all the time? Is it partisan politics all the time? Is it whatever? What's the music like? What does the vibe feel? So we're hoping that that's something that we expect that, in fact, we expect that it's possibly by Easter we have all that in place and we're able to upgrade our live stream broadcast. Also to make an investment in our Kids Central CNY preschool, not just a building space investment, but we've made an investment in their operations, with the goal that the objective being that it's self-sustaining, and we want to invest to help it build towards self-sustaining and continuing to reach families who need childcare help, preschool help, specifically childcare for their preschooler that is actually better than childcare. It's a school. So we're grateful for that. So the third aspect is more room. More room. So, you can probably take a deep breath and relax. I'm not announcing a capital campaign to move or to expand the building, but we envision a church that has more room for hospitality. So we envision, and by probably right around May, it's all related to supply chain. Same with our live stream. Improvements and upgrades and construction and implementation is now currently on the timeline of whatever the supply chain is. So our schedule is right around May. We have scheduled to expand the lobby and to take that wall all the way back to the outside wall and windows from ground to ceiling all the way along that back wall. New sunlight, brighter experience, and a greater capacity for us to spend time together. Grandparents with their grandkids. Hospitality time before. Hospitality time after, and come earlier, stay later, and we'll have more room for seating. And our idea is that with more seating, more natural sunlight, we have more room for hospitality. We'll increase the capacity to come early, stay late, and spend time with the church family once a week. Once a week. Is it? It's extremely important, vitally to be prioritized, and also so urgent for us to get this done. So we got that planned in the spring once this winter passes. So God willing, we'll be expanding, making more room. And our idea is real fruit, better reach, more room. That's what we're envisioning this year. Also to go along parallel with investing in thriving marriages from last year. So that's what we're envisioning. So how can we do this? Most of the cost for this wasn't budgeted in 22 budget that we're going to talk about tonight. In fact, most of this cost to do this was already given. We had a vision gift already received and designated for that. So already paid for. So if our money is still worth anything in the next few months. So we'll see. Might need to make a Bitcoin transaction to get this all going. I'm only halfway joking, actually. Are you following it? Only halfway joking. So, live stream updates, we're aiming for Easter, and demo and construction, we're aiming for May, give ourselves some more room. And I know this, that for a lot of you, when you think about more room in hospitality spaces, you think about more bakery items. I'm with you. I'm totally with you. More coffee, more eating, more time. Before the pandemic kind of brought some restrictions and closures and whatever, I remember taking a snapshot of the busy bustling of our before the church service experience, and I remember taking a picture of probably 4 or 5 different families that look like grandparents and grandkids or kids and their kids sitting together at tables, kind of cutting up some of the treats that are available before and spending time connecting with each other, caring for each other. We recognize we're not going all the way back, right? But we're pivoting to I think, enhance some of the ways in which when we're together, we can enhance them. And our hope and prayer is that God is in it, and we believe that we're going to make some big strides this year.